So Rovicare really is born out of personal frustration from the healthcare system. And the frustration is simple communication with the family members, with the patient, from the providers. So generally, when think about a patient, the patient's journey goes through multiple providers. The simplest example could be moving from primary care physician to specialist, or it could be as complicated as a 90-year-old having a stroke who's taken to emergency department, then acute care and skilled nursing facilities and subsequent providers. Right now, believe it or not, the transfer between one provider to another, it's all manual. It's all paper-based, it's all manual. I mean, think of any time when any patient had to go even from PCP to specialist. They get a business card and it's like, go make an appointment. Go to the specialist and first thing they ask is, why are you here? Why is it so backward in the healthcare? Whereas everywhere else, if we want to book something in the Expedia, you can get the whole unified experience. So is the case at Myriad. So Rovicare really is the software system, a good workflow system to connect all the providers together to accomplish a full care continuum in the journey of patients, journey of wellness. Yeah, so it started with when I had my younger one. I have two kids. So really, perhaps you can say subconsciously, the idea was conceived 5 years ago. He's 5 years old now. So we were at the hospital for the good reason. We were having our second baby. They took good care of us. And then 2 days later, when we were ready to get discharged, the night before, I get all the paperwork done with understanding that we'll be leaving at 11 a.m. next morning. I go there with my 18-month-old princess for discharge, around 10:30, I pack everything up and I'm ready to leave. And then I was informed that they need one more paperwork to be done. I'm like, sure, no problem. And then there was just one more and one more. Long story short, we were not out of there until 2 p.m. Generally, not a big deal, but when you're just making a trip to a 15-minute trip from your home to a hospital, generally don't pack so much food or diaper or water for 18-month-old. It's like we're just going to be in and out. So I called them up. I said, look, we reached home. Everything worked out very well at the end. I called them back and I said, look, all you had to do was communicate with me. Tell me that it's going to be 2 p.m. Hey, make it 5 p.m. Make it next day. I'm okay. Just let me know. And I said, look, I have been an enterprise architect at Intel and whatnot. It's not that big of a problem. You can do it. And I'm happy to sit down with your executives and talk about the process quickly, completely voluntarily. And I do those volunteer work, which will help everybody, my friends and family who are having baby in your hospital next. And they said, that sounds great. We'll call you. They never call me back. 6 months later, I meet my co-founder, Dr. Jan, who's a pediatric cardiologist. He just, I picked up the word pediatric. I didn't even hear the cardiologist and I just let off on him, saying that this medication is not going to help. First, you need to learn how to communicate with the patient and family members. So go fix your problem. And he challenged me back saying that, why is it just my problem? Why is it not your problem too? And that's how we really got started on Rovicare, with the idea that we need to have the patient's journey unified and well communicated as they're going through it. So when we started, we did a lot of research, right? I'm one of those, it's not just because I saw the problem one place, I would be, I know all about it and let's jump into it. And we learned that patients are getting stuck in the hospital for days, not hours, like it happened in my case. And that's costing everybody so much time, peace of mind and dollars. It's unbelievable. All the way from patient to health plans to we as a nation spending $4 trillion on the healthcare. So we said, why don't we go to the acute care hospital and build a solution for them and we'll give it to them. So we started there, but the sales cycles were unbelievably long in the acute care hospital. And then finally, when we had almost had our first contract, in the February of last year in 2020, COVID hit. So that just evaporates overnight. So we had to just kept going. So, getting our first customer took us more than 2.5 years, but we haven't looked back. But, one, changing the process or bringing technology to the acute care hospital has been a huge challenge. And then, of course, with COVID, healthcare getting overwhelmed and not having time to see anything else. And after COVID, now it's a staffing situation. If they can't even find, unless you're talking, first it was like acute care hospital, we don't want to change anything which is not absolutely broken. Second was, if COVID hit, so unless you're talking COVID, don't talk to us. And third now is like, unless you're talking staffing, don't talk to us. So we had a bunch of challenges, but thankfully we have overcome those, and we have some really strong customers. It's a perseverance of the team. So, when the one door closes, 10 other doors open. That's what we believe in. Almost, sometimes it's not fair as well to be eternal optimistic. So when the door closed for us on the acute care hospital, instead of just taking it as a no everywhere and saying that nothing can happen, now it's all over, we looked into what else can we do. And we met with a lot of great people, actually, asking them for their advice, asking them, discussing with them, what can we do? What are the other possibilities? And that's where we significantly expanded our scope, not just going to acute care hospital, but start thinking about skilled nursing facility, start thinking about primary care and specialists, the example I start with. Think about the accountable care organizations or health plans. And so biggest contributing factor, I would say, is the community. Openness of the people to come discuss with us, to meet with us, discuss with us, and just advising us for no returns. So I think that's community, I would say, is the biggest contributing factor. So I have been in the startup world for, as an angel investor, as a co-founder for many years now, 6-7 years. And I've heard of Startup AZ, and some of the companies, organizations have gone out to be very successful. So between that and the fact that when the company started taking a new form and started growing, I realized there are so many questions where I just needed a confirmation. Not even it's like somebody hold my hand, take me through certain journey. It's just like confirmation. It's like, if I didn't hire somebody right, what did you guys do? Did you repurpose them? Did you, ended the employment? How did you handle it? To as big as, hey, this acute care hospital is taking forever to close. Anybody else has an experience? To how do you go about hiring your other people? So really building the team or finances. And this startup easy from some of the previous company leaders, CEOs. They would swear by it. They will say, yes, you can discuss things in confidence there, and you get just the honest and direct answers and advice, and discussions are very positive. That really, really pushed me or motivated me to apply and join the collective. I would say camaraderie, really, and some of the decision validation, I guess. It's not just validation. I don't want to just minimize it by saying that all the decisions I make are accurate. Some of them are, they have challenged me too, and I can see other side very easily. Perspectives matter. So decision making and camaraderie. When you go out there, you're meeting with other people. Misery loves company. I mean, so when we are discussing and I'm having some challenges setting up my CRM, somebody else says, oh my God, that was so difficult. Or I'm discussing, or they bring up first, even before I talk about that, this whole, HR management, like employee management. Like, I'm not even talking about actual people, but all the things you have to do, from state tax to city tax to, payroll tax and God knows what all. And they're like, that's so painful. And somebody raises their hand and say, have you tried this? and all of a sudden it's like, something which would have taken so long to figure out on our own, we would have eventually figured out. It's just right there, and you do it. Um, that's what I mean by camaraderie and decision making. It's been phenomenal. We so when we pivoted our marketing or sales effort, so we really expanded our scope and pivoted our resources, having a limited resources as a startup to more at the skilled nursing facility organization and more of the outpatient organization. Right away we hit success, and it started going really well. And when we were doing that, in my strategic plan, I thought I'll be getting to the health plans and accountable care organizations 18 months or 2 years from now, because they are so big. If hospitals are taking this long, they're going to take perhaps even longer. So that's what we started with. But I'm so ecstatic to share that we have signed up contracts with not only a bunch of skilled nursing facilities, but outpatient providers with acute care behavioral hospital, tons of behavioral providers, with accountable care organization, with health plans. So the growth has been just phenomenal. Continue on this growth path, really. So while we have those customers, it's like we are just getting started. So there is just tons and tons for us to do. Keep growing, keep taking it to the next level, and then evolve and expand into whichever way it takes us. We are not going to be limited to obviously what we are doing, but what we are doing, we will definitely make it amazingly well. So where people are super happy, it's a solution that they're really seeking for. It's something they can be proud of, saying that, oh yes, I use Rovicare. That's really what we see in the future for us. We stay very, very close to your customer, not just when you have started the company, even before you started. That's, just know your customer, learn from them every day, and align your process to solve that problem. So you are not selling your product, you are selling a solution to your customer's problem. So really, stay close to them, understand their problem, and really solve their problem.